Hey, welcome back to Geocaching World. I'm Dave Dufour, and with me is Andy Head Hard Hat Smith. We're talking about where to hide things and what not to hide them in. And one of the things that we were talking about is that moisture is probably the biggest enemy of most geocaches, correct?
Absolutely. The one thing you want to focus most of all, and sometimes they can almost be too well sealed, and a seal is a very important aspect to a geocache in general.
Right.
What I meant by that is you can have in certain areas and certain environments where condensation can actually build up within the geocache itself, and that can bring in moisture even though it's not coming in per se like rain.
Oh, okay, I see. And we were talking kind of during the break too, is that things like the inexpensive Glad containers, the thin ones that you buy at the dollar store, the ones that are made to maybe be used a couple of times for some potato salad, but not permanently for something, are not necessarily good choices for a geocache.
No, matter of fact, that's probably one of the larger mistakes, if you want to call it, for new geocache hiders. They see when they go out geocaching that a lot of times nice lock and lock boxes or the heavy duty type of Tupperware type boxes are really used all the time, and they want to get a geocache out there right away. So they go to like you said, a Glad transfer box. Those are really thin plastic. The seal on them aren't all that great in general. Imagine having it out there in the weather and the elements where heat and cold and just plain weather in general can affect them. They
Right.
last literally days sometimes, and then you got nothing but water and goo.
Right, and now Glad bags are also not a permanent solution necessarily, unless you're checking that cache pretty often, right?
Yeah, a lot of times another mistake that people will do is they'll take baggies and they'll try to reinforce them by putting like duct tape over them to make them a little more durable. The problem with that is there's a seal that's across that you open and close. When you open and close it one or two times, that seal stays in place pretty well.
Right.
The problem is with geocaches, they get open 30, 40 or more times in any given period, and that seal just completely becomes dysfunctional very, very quickly.
Right, yeah, so there may be a good second line of defense inside a larger container, but not necessarily the primary.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you just mentioned the lock and lock box, which is that's actually a term I wasn't actually familiar with. But we have some video here, and maybe we can talk over it if we'll leave our. Oh, there's one there. You were showing one off. Go ahead and show that. Yeah, there you go. That's
this is one of the bigger ones.
Uh-huh.
And what's nice about them, you can see the blue seal that's around here.
Right.
These really help keep the seal tight to it, and what really works are on the sides are these clips that you can just go to and hold them down, and since there's four of them, that gives your best ultimate seal when it comes to what you want to use for a geocache.
Right. Now, how do those hold up with weather and sun and that kind of thing?
They're thick. You're paying extra money for this, but I'll tell you what, they're well worth it. They're extra heavy duty made. They're made for holding heavier objects, so they're made to be more durable. You're always going to run across with plastics in extreme colds, like in the northern states or different countries that have extreme cold. If somebody hits the top of that thing with a hiking pole, that it still has a chance to shatter, but it's less likely, and they're also less likely to warp.
Okay. Well, what we have coming up here is a video where you actually took one of these lock and lock boxes and then altered it, modified it for camouflage. And so we'll leave our mics up and we can talk over this a little bit, and you can tell us what you did here. But let's see the video on the camo box.
Yeah, one of the things that you really want to do with geocaches, especially when they're in the woods, is to camouflage them. The white plastic sticks out like a sore thumb when you go geocaching. Here you're just seeing some examples of using paint that are plastic-based that you can spray onto the lock and lock box. Here I'm trying to put leaves on there. That way it just kind of gives you that little bit of extra camouflage feel to it.
Right, yeah, that's easy to do. So, and then what we're going to see here is camouflaging the bottom part.
Yeah, another popular thing besides paint is also camouflage tape. This one, it works really well. You can get them at any sporting goods store.
Uh-huh.
If you do a good enough job with it, this also makes a very good way of camouflaging a lock and lock or plastic type geocache. And there you see kind of a combo here. We had the top of it painted, the bottom of it camouflaged with tape, and it's ready to go out.
There you go. Perfect. And that's a real simple thing to do. Which do you prefer, the tape or the paint, or was there a reason that you did both on this particular box?
I think for this one was just to kind of give a good example of the two different ways of doing it. It kind of becomes an art form in a way. There's geocaches that I've seen out there that should be hidden in museums because they've done such a good paint job with it.
Yeah.
I really don't have a preference. Cami tape has some good advantages. It all depends on how you want to hide that geocache and where it's going to look the most natural to blend into its environment.
Right. Obviously, that camo box that you just did is not going to go in a city or an urban environment somewhere. So, you obviously pick the colors for where you're camouflaging.
That is a very big thing to do, and one of the best things to do when placing a geocache is just that. Look for your spot, see what colors that are going to be in that area so that you can match it up.
That's right. And of course, I guess you probably have to think about the seasons as well, since things may be green in the summertime, but maybe it might stand out a little bit more in after the leaves fall and are gone, or in the snow or something like that as well.
That's exactly it. And there are some people that do go out and change up the geocache container just for that very reason.
Wow. Okay. Well, we are going to talk more about where to hide things, and actually what not to hide, when we come back on Geocaching World, so stay right with us. Got a question or a comment about geocaching? Send it to geocache@rvnn.tv or leave us a voicemail at 877-578-RVNN, extension 714. Tell us about a cache you especially enjoyed finding, and we may feature it in an upcoming episode. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. For more TV like this from the world of RVs, head to rvnn.tv.